Yeah.
You know, and the legs, and you're going. I mean, Brush was an integral part of all of that. We mustn't forget. I was a big fan of Brush. I still am, you know. But you could go and see Brush, and because of his connection with Philip and Lizzie, you know, oh, you got to see Eric Bell and Brush Shields are playing together. You got to check these guys out, you know. And you know they're saying, you know, that Brush taught Phil how to play the bass, and which he did. And you know, then it was. I remember seeing. Them playing in Dublin in the Baggot Inn, and of course we wanted to get to play the Baggot Inn, and of course we thought, how are we going to do that? Well, they said, oh no guys, there's not a chance he's playing there. You have to earn your keep. That you have to show that you're worth it to get in there. So next door there was another gig called Toners, and in order to get to that gig you had to play Toners first. So I think our management badgered Toners to let us play. So up we arrived with our cattle trailer and our gear, and they took some look at us, let me tell you, and we set up in Toner, and we managed to get the manager of the owner of the Baggot Inn, which was the place to play. I mean, that was, the history goes right back there, as Lizzie started there, Brush started there, anybody that was anything in Ireland in terms of the rock music and where it started, it was the Baggot Inn. And to make it to the Baggot Inn, then you were really doing, it was the pinnacle of your career. And so I remember one particular occasion, on that particular occasion, the night that we played in Toners, we were packing up our gear, and the band that was playing in the Baggot Inn were packing up their gear and bringing it out, and it was none other than you two. And we're going, oh, that band's fairly made it now. I'm going to, Tommy and Joe are going, oh, they're playing the Baggot Inn. You know, so little did we know, there's such a huge worldwide, probably the greatest band ever to come out of Ireland, are the greatest band ever come out of Ireland. So we seen them when they were just starting out too. Yeah, they were a little bit further advanced than we were at that stage. You know, they had a lot of interest around them and were building up a real big following. But you know, they went on to conquer the world like they did. Totally amazing. But I do remember that distinctly, you know. Them packing up the gear and coming out with their gear as well, you know. So that we were going, we want to play there, you know. So we managed to get in there in the end, and we had a residency there, and that built up. And you had bands like Moving Hearts that supported us a couple of times in there, you know. And of course Moving Hearts were moving the Irish thing along, and they'd gone electrified as well. You know, you had the wonderful Declan Sinnott on guitar, I mean, a master of the guitar, and the wonderful Donal Lunny and the rest of the band, Davy Spillane, so they actually supported us on a couple of times. And I remember on one occasion, I remember Christy coming up to us and saying they were flying in, some record company from America were coming in to see them play, and the men would remain forfeiting the gig. Meaning that, you know, because they only come in on we had a Tuesday night residency there, and Christy said, would you mind, forfeiting that gig and letting us play that night, because it's the only night we can get the record going. We said, fire ahead, you know, and of course they went on, Moving Hearts went on to be very successful, you know, and were instigators in changing Irish music and bringing a very different brand of Irish music with their songwriting and their instrumentation of the way they did it. They presented it to a whole new audience, and people that wouldn't have really got the real pure trad stuff. So they'd seen, you know, the power of the electric guitar as well, and you know, before that there would have been nothing like that in Ireland, you know. So they'd seen the power of four strips, and then they took it a stage further, and it was a nice thing that, you know, in the end it was Christy Moore was supporting us tonight. That doesn't happen too often. And it did, you know, what our punters, because it was just full of our rockers in there, you know, what they made of the night, I do have no idea. But everybody seemed to have a good time on here, you know. And of course they were legends, they were already, you know, huge names in the Irish music industry, you know. But they were searching to take it somewhere else, you know, and electrically they took it quite different. You know, they're two of my favourite albums of all time is the Moving Hearts. When they went electrified, was just fantastic. You know, so there were funny little stories like that there, you know.